So, anime, right? If you guys have seen my first video, you'll know I lost 175 pounds. About give or take, more gives than take, or yeah, more give than take. So you'd know that I have the credentials. I have the credentials to back it up. This isn't just all talk. Um, Basically, I over the course of like 2-ish years, I locked in just on losing weight, and the payoff was significant, you know. And people ask me a lot, like, oh, like what helped you stay motivated? Um, what was it that made you lock in like this so hard to the point where when I'm back in my hometown, people who I went to school with for like 2 years, they don't even recognize me. I actually just saw my one friend at Walmart like a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, hey, like what's up? And he like looked really confused. I was like, oh, like it's me, it's Elisha. He was like, no way, like wow. Um, he's like, you look a lot different. I know, thank you. So whenever I first started working out, um, I was like 315, 320 pounds. I just was big. I looked like a milk dud, to be honest with you. Um, it was bad. It was really bad. Those were hard days. But one of the things that helped keep me motivated was anime. Um, and I'm like a huge nerd, basically. I may not look like it. Actually, no, I take that back. I probably do look like a nerd. Um, I may look like a nerd, but like I'm not a fat nerd. I'm an ascended chud, if you will. So, um, whenever I first started, lifting, it was really hard to stay consistent in the gym. I'd go like maybe once, twice a week. Um, and I'd still kind of eat really bad. I didn't really know anything about health or about fitness at the time. And one of my big inspirations was like Leon Kennedy. And I know you're like, he's not an anime character. First character you bring up, he's not even an anime character. But he was a big inspiration for me. Um, and another one was Toji from Jujutsu Kaisen. And if you don't know who that is, I'll put him on screen. But he he's just like an awesome inspiration. He's like a villain. Uh, I was gonna say technically, but no, he's a villain. He was trying to slime out high school age kids. He's a bad guy. But can you really hate someone whose physique is so on point? I mean, seriously, like that guy, he could kill my entire family. And I'd be like, wow, look at his triceps though. Look at his lats. Look at his rear delts. Um, so that's kind of what really motivated me. I remember like I would like be at home in bed. I wouldn't want to go to the gym. I wouldn't want to work out. Didn't want to do cardio. I hated cardio. Um, and I would like watch edits. This is gonna sound so cringe. I would watch edits of like Toji, and I'd like get myself pumped up. I'm like, yeah, yeah, like we're gonna do it. We're gonna get that Toji physique. We're gonna be cool for the summer. Kind of deal. Um, and it's like stupid, to be like, oh, like I'm gonna be like this anime character. Um, but that's what really helped keep me pushing. Genuinely, people think that it's like corny, to be into that or like have like that kind of inspiration. I don't think it's any different from looking up to like a bodybuilder, having like posters of Arnold on your wall. It just so happened that my, inspiration, like my who I want to be, pinnacle kind of thing, just isn't a real person on Earth. So that was like, whatever. People will make fun of me, and be like, bro, like you're such a cornball, whatever. I know whenever Solo Leveling came out, I was reading the manhwa before it became an anime, and I would be like, whenever I'd work out, I'd be like, oh, like I got some experience points. I'm gonna put them into strength. And like I'd talk to myself like this, by the way. I still do, honestly. I'll be like doing my workout, I'll be like, yeah, this is easy. My heavenly restriction allows me to bench 250 pounds. That's just a light workup, workout, warm up. That's the word I'm looking for, warm up. Um, and it made it fun. A thing that people don't talk about is like if you don't enjoy it, you're gonna not do it. Like it's just that simple. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not gonna keep doing it. And that's kind of how it was at first. I didn't enjoy. I hated going to the gym. I hated like getting ready and everything like that. But I was talking to my mom because she's like really starting to get into her fitness journey, and she was like asking me, and I was like, the simple thing is this, like there have been so many times where I wanted to go to the gym or I knew I had to go, and I didn't, and I would feel like garbage. Um, but there's never been a single time in the almost 3 years now that I've been going to the gym that I have not wanted to go, and then I went and I regretted it. I've never once regretted going to the gym. I've never once regretted working out, even if it was only for 30 minutes, even if it was only for an hour. I never regretted it. Um, the feeling afterwards when when you check your pump and you're sweaty and you're kind of tired, but you're like, oh man, that was awesome. And if anything, for me, after, like, if I was tired going into the gym, once I leave the gym, I'm just full of energy. 9 times out of 10, I'm full of energy. Even like on really hard lifts, where I'm really pushing myself, I'm still full of energy whenever I leave. And so, whenever I would be in the gym too, and if it was like a particularly hard set, or if that day I just really wasn't feeling it, that's where the edits would come back. I'd have like some Toji edits going. Oh my goodness, dude, that was like pre, man. I swear those Toji edits, dude, where he's like going crazy, whatever, and like the domain and everything, just insane. That was like snorting coke for me. I felt like prime Mike Menser, just snorting white lines on the lifting floor. Um, and then too, uh, this is like something literal, like just completely anime. But whenever I would like do my cardio, because I was like the worst time, for me now, like cardio is not really a big deal. It's no big thing. But at the time when I first started, especially when you're really big like that, dude, cardio hurts, because you're carrying around so much like excess weight. So it's like, imagine, let's say like you're like 170 pounds right now, just like get like a weighted vest that weighs like 160 pounds, and then just go on a walk. It's gonna feel hard, even if it's like a speed and a incline or whatever that you're used to. It's still hard. And at the time too, I wasn't doing like just regular incline treadmill. No, I was doing the stairs, and so that was even harder on me, on my body, and on my joints. um, I primarily do incline treadmill now, for my cardio, but I also walk a lot because of my job. I do retail, so I'm walking around a lot, I'm folding. And I also have this, it's a Fitbit, and that helps a lot because I can track my steps. But not to get too off topic. I in my second year of college, me and my friends, we decided to just lock in on like a deep cut, and we were all really successful. By the way, I'm so proud of my boys. Um, One of my good friends, Lucas, actually, he lost like 50 pounds, I think, in one semester. He was taking my advice, but also too, like he worked things out in a way that did well for him. Um, and that was awesome to see that. He went down, I think, like 2 shirt sizes. He went down like a couple pant sizes as well. So that was just insane. And he'll like send me pictures now because I'm on summer break of himself, and it's like, wow. And then I'll like send him old pictures of himself, and it's like, it's insane that's even the same person. I just love that. I love that for him. And I brought that up to say that whenever we would do our cardio, because we do it together, after our workouts, we would like all watch Jujutsu Kaisen together, because I put them on the Jujutsu Kaisen, and that was like so hype. The thing is too is that like some of the fights, in the anime, I'd be on the treadmill, I'd be watching it, like, I don't know. I don't want to say spoilers. If you haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen, just skip to this time. Skip to this time. But the fight with Yuta and I forget the guy, the Let's LARP guy. You know, he has like the crazy hair. Um, that fight was so good. I was on the treadmill watching it, and I just like, oh my goodness. I was on the treadmill for like, usually like I'll do 30 minutes. I was on the treadmill for like an hour, just rewatching that fight. You know, whenever the music kicked in, love me, kill me, and then like the laser, I saw Chelsea not there, and I'm like, yes, yes, kick his ass, you know. That was awesome. And like it's so awesome. It's just so nice. Like I'm literally getting hyped up right now just thinking about it. Just thinking about being at the gym and watching some of my favorite fights in anime. You know, like a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen fights. You know, Naruto fights, Kakashi and Obito. Um, I was like, man, like that's so awesome. And I'm like in my mind, I'm like, I want to be like that. You know, that's what I want to be. My entire life, kind of, you know, growing up, I don't have a dad. Can you tell? Yeah, I didn't have a dad growing up, so whenever it comes to like, you know, like those masculine role models, I never really had that. So I would like kind of attach, I guess, in a way, like my masculinity in a way to like these characters. Um, and that was like a big driving force for me, you know, to be able to see like these awesome anime characters and be like, oh, like I want to be like that. You know, when I was younger, you know, a little kid, I'm like, oh, like I want to be like Naruto because he's so cool. And then it's like, oh, like I want to be like, I don't know, Light because he's so smart or something. And then now it's like, I want to be like Toji because his physique is insane. I feel like for every point in my life, there's been like a specific character who I'm like, you know, as a guy, I'm like, that's who I want to be like as a guy. I know I brought up Leon Kennedy, and he's not an anime character. If you don't know Leon Kennedy, if you see him, you probably see him. I'll put him on screen. But you know, Leon is just like this like guy. Like to me, he's like the pinnacle of like healthy masculinity, in the sense that he just has this never giving up vibe. Um, even whenever it feels like a lost cause, you know, like in Resident Evil 4. I don't want to spoil it. I feel like this is just spoilers, the YouTube video. But in Resident Evil 4 here, just I'll timestamp it again uh, for Resident Evil 4 spoilers. But whenever he's infected with the Las Plagas, you know, and he's like carrying Ashley in that part, if you know what I'm talking about.
This time, it has to be different.
You go first.
That was like, man, like, you know, the tenacity, the sheer tenacity. And I think that's what I really value in these characters is like their like sheer force of will. Um, I feel like to be like a person, especially now whenever things feel so crazy all the time and it feels like the world is on fire, you know, it does actually feel like that right now. There's like this haze over my state, Pennsylvania, because of the forest fires. But like, man, that just like the ability to just not give up, dude. People always ask me like, what's your number one tip, you know, for losing weight, for getting jacked? You know, you have so much muscle. What did you do? Kind of glazing myself right now, but I feel like I deserve it. Um, my main thing I always say is just consistency. You know, consistency, and you know, as someone with ADHD, being on like a routine schedules, it's so difficult for me. Because like the ADHD mind just isn't built for that. Built for like, you know, schedules and okay, like I'm gonna get up at this and do that. You know, that part in a neurotypical person's brain, you know, and I'm not trying to be like, woe is me, ADHD. Absolutely not. But the part, you know, in a neurotypical person's brain where they're like, okay, like I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do this. Um, you know, the ADHD brain just doesn't work like that. It just doesn't tick that way. We kind of have to put like way more, what's the word? Uh care and more kind of, I guess, like just sheer force of will whenever it comes to getting ourselves to do stuff. And so whenever I needed that kind of willpower, man, like God, obviously, prayer, God really answered my prayers. But also too, just like having inspiration. So it doesn't even have to come from anime or like rip JoJo guys. Like it can literally just be whatever motivates you, whatever inspires you to get up and just get that workout in. And even if it's like I said, like 30 minutes, that's better than not going at all. So if you just do that, 30 minutes every day, every other day, just like 10 minutes of cardio, 20 minutes of lifting, screw it. That's better than what you were doing before. And obviously too, you're going to build up your stamina. You're going to build up your tenacity. You're going to learn more, and it's just going to become easier. It's going to get easier and easier and easier. So basically, anime inspired me, Toji, Naruto, whoever, man. So yeah, with that being said, have a good day. I'm at work right now, late as hell. I don't care though. I don't care. I don't care if I'm late, man. They're late. Whenever I come, that's whenever it's time. That's when it's time to open the store. Time revolves around me. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Um, the first video did really good. I think we're at like 90 views, which is insane. I love you guys so much. But yeah, with that being said, hit that bell, leave a comment, whatever, do all that good YouTube stuff, and yeah. Mwah.